Canned biscuits can be used for way more than you think. I've got 15 genius hacks and recipes that use this bad boy. I'm starting with apple pie cinnamon roll bubble up. You know, we'll be popping cans today. It's just fun. The recipe really calls for canned cinnamon roll dough, but I found that the biscuit works perfectly, and then it's a little less sweet, so it's a little more like sweet and salty. So you start with 2 cans of biscuits and you're gonna cut them up into little cubes. It's called a bubble up because these little pieces of dough just kind of bubble up when they bake. Making for the perfect bite. I always love when these are like buy one, get one free at the store because I just stock up because I will find a use for it. Some of these today are gonna blow your mind. All of these are real things that I do at home. I'm not just blowing smoke. Okay, because I'm not using cinnamon rolls, I'm just gonna dust these pieces with a little bit of cinnamon before I put them in the casserole dish. So I'm gonna start by just pouring heavy cream into the bottom of a casserole dish. You want it to kind of like cover the bottom. This is gonna soak into that biscuit dough and make it extra rich and kind of creamy. And you just place your pieces on top. This is a good one for like Christmas morning, or if your kids have a sleepover. They always want something sweet. And this is cheaper than going out and buying donuts. Donuts used to be cheap. So then you're just gonna put some apple pie filling all over the top of this. If you want more, you can use the whole can. You could also change up the flavor here. You could use canned peach filling, blueberry, whatever you want. All right, and then you're gonna top it with like a streusel topping. So this is just a combination of brown sugar, some oats, and some melted butter, and a little more cinnamon. At the end of the day, you're gonna get something that's a combination of like a cinnamon roll meets a cobbler meets a streusel. It's like all my favorite things. All right, see how easy? This is the before. Get ready for the after. This goes into the oven 350 degrees for about 45 minutes. It has bubbled up. Look at that. See little bubbles of biscuits and then apple, yum. Now this is gonna be good as is, but you could also top it off. You can make a little icing, which I've done, just a little powdered sugar and milk, or you could top it with ice cream. I don't judge. I used to have ice cream for breakfast. My mom served it to me. Look at that. Yes. That looks so good. Hot and steamy. Good as is, but we're just gonna make it just a tad bit even better. Look at this perfect bite. It's gooey and a little bit crunchy from the topping, but also the bottom gets nice and toasty. So good. A plus, plus, plus. I love using the biscuit here because it kind of makes it a little sweet and salty. You get the satisfaction of apple pie and cinnamon roll, but without all the effort. We didn't have to make anything from scratch, but it tastes completely homemade. Now for the savory one. Now this is one of my favorite breakfast casseroles. It's biscuits and gravy. And what I like about it is that you get like the creamy sausage gravy with the biscuits. Even though it does have egg in it, it's not like a spongy egg situation. So I've just got some eggs with a little milk. I'm gonna season it with some salt and pepper. All right, so I've got 2 cans of biscuits that I've cut up, and then I'm gonna put some cheese right on top of that. I feel like everybody makes the same old sausage, egg, and cheese breakfast casseroles, especially on those holiday mornings. Make this one this time. I'm gonna pour the egg right on top of that, and then I've made some sausage and gravy. The recipe calls for you to put sausage down and then make gravy out of a packet, but you can just make your own sausage gravy. Pour this right on top. Spread that out. You can just do it all together. I'm telling you, this is superior to bread cubes. A little more cheese. All right, then this one goes into the oven 350 degrees until those eggs are set and it gets all fluffy. Take about 30 to 35 minutes. I love biscuits and gravy. I like to top it with a little something green. You could go parsley, I'm going green onions. You want this to ooze a little bit with gravy. You know, we came here for biscuits and gravy experience. Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's a hearty portion. When the eggs get with the biscuit, it just kind of fluffs the whole thing up. So you have like fluffy scrambled eggs down on the bottom, biscuits and sausage gravy. It's a complete meal right here. I'll for sure be making this Christmas morning. See how that bread from canned biscuits is just bread? It hasn't sopped up all of that egg, so it's not spongy. It's just what you want it to be, a piece of biscuit. Next time you're entertaining and need a breakfast, this is the casserole. We've already accomplished our mission in these first 2 recipes. I could stop here, but I won't. My next trick, biscuit muffins. The perfect thing to break out at your next brunch. These are almost like little biscuit bombs. I love these so much because I like a little something savory to nibble on, but when you're hosting a brunch, you want it to be handheld. This is that. These are gonna be bacon, cheese, and scallion filled, which is what I like, but you could also fill these with something sweet. You could do a fruit and cinnamon sugar in the inside. So you just want to flatten your biscuit out. I'm adding some bacon, some green onions, and some cheese. I'm just gonna kind of fold the dough over, kind of pinch the bottom, flip it over. You've got these cute little packages right here. Nobody knows what's inside. It's gonna be a surprise. You can even put like chicken and cheese. You can make these like taco style. I mean, anything goes really. You're gonna place them seam side down into a muffin tin. I like to use the liners because they're really cute after they bake, but you can just grease a muffin tin. Place them down, they fit perfectly. And then I like to just kind of let people know that these are savory. So I'm gonna put a little something savory on the top. And if it was sweet, you could sprinkle them with some cinnamon sugar or something. I'm gonna take an egg, whisk it up, and brush the top, and then I'm gonna sprinkle it with everything bagel seasoning. The egg will just kind of act as the glue. See what I mean? How they look like they're like from a bakery or something. They're not, they just started with the humble can of biscuit. These can easily be assembled to this point ahead of time, and then you can just bake them off when your guests come or whatever. Then these just go into the oven, 350 degrees for just about 15 minutes. Oh, wait till you see these. I mean, look how cute these are. The egg kind of made it like glossy and tan on the top. No one would think this started with canned biscuits. See, when they come out, they're like muffins. I'm so proud of these, I love these. And now, do you want to see what's inside? Where you seal the muffins on the bottom, they bake like from the bottom up. So you get the biscuit as the bottom half, and then it's covered in the cheesy, bacony goodness on top. That's a perfect bite right here. Something about it, it doesn't even taste like a biscuit anymore. It tastes like a soft dinner roll. It's got scallions, cheese, and bacon in it. I mean, it's so good. You need to make these sweet or savory. The possibilities are endless. And truthfully, you could load these up with even more filling if you want them extra gooey. Next up, one of my favorite biscuit hacks. Get ready. Using canned biscuits as a pie topping is just one of the best things ever. It is way easier than dealing with pie crust, and you still get that buttery goodness. So I'm using canned biscuits to make the top for my chicken pot pie, which I do all the time. I actually do this more than I do pie crust. Because using canned biscuits for something like this, it's truly a one-pan meal and you don't have to deal with multiple dishes. This also works for like a sloppy Joe pot pie situation or even like a peach cobbler. So you've got your filling already made in your skillet. You want it to be oven proof because we're gonna go straight to the oven. Okay, and then I don't like it to be like just a biscuit and filling because then it doesn't look like a crust. I like to split open the biscuit either in 2 or sometimes 3. So the biscuits are always usually in layers and you can just kind of separate the layers like so. I even kind of like flatten them out even more. And then I kind of like shingle them on the top. And I don't try to be skimpy here. And you can really get a lot from one can of biscuits. You can make this in a bigger pan, even like a 9x13, and it will stretch across the whole top. Ta-da! I have one biscuit left over, but you can just bake that off and have it for breakfast. All right, you could stop here. I like that golden shiny coat on the top. So just how we did for the muffins, I'm just gonna brush this over the top. I mean, they're gonna stick together by themselves when they bake, but it also kind of adds a little extra insurance that our crust will stay in one piece. And it's something that really like looks fancy and it required less effort than anything else. It also doesn't matter what size biscuit you use. These are the jumbo biscuits, but you can just use those regular smaller size too. Pretty much with any of these recipes. You can sprinkle the top with a little flaky salt. Then you just pop it in the oven, 350 degrees. It'll take about 12 to 15 minutes. This is gonna be so beautiful. Look at this. Look how cute he is. I mean, that looks so beautiful, so fancy. Could it even be better than pie crust? I mean, I love pie crust, but this is gonna be delicious. See, you got that flaky biscuit on top. We've got that little flaky salt on there too. It's toasty, it's beautiful, and it's the perfect ratio of bread to filling right there. Just enough biscuit to sop up all that delicious gravy. Oh, that biscuit is so like soft. Perfection. With the biscuits on top, it just tastes like a warm hug from your grandmother. Now I've got the perfect party trick to show you. We are turning these canned biscuits into calzones. Sort of like mini handheld calzones, perfect for a party. And I don't want any Italians yelling at me. I know this is not pizza dough. Okay, I know this is not a true calzone. It's okay. You're gonna take your canned biscuit, flatten it out, and then you can fill it with whatever fillings you want. I'm gonna do 2 different kind that I think are perfect for any kind of football party. You want these a little bit bigger than what we did when we did the muffins because we want to kind of get a substantial amount of filling in the middle. So just kind of give them a little press and stretch. Of course, pizza, you can do the classic fillings. And then I thought these little mini pepperonis would be cute. You could also do sausage. You could just do cheese. You could do the bigger pepperoni, but I think since these are gonna be small, you'll get a little pepperoni in every bite if you use the little ones. I'm gonna put a little cheese down just so it doesn't get too soggy. A little sauce, and I'm just doing it kind of on the top half. Pepperoni, and then a little more cheese. All right, then you're gonna fold the bottom half over the top half, and we're going to pinch the ends together so they seal. But I'm also gonna take a fork and help seal it even more. That's it, perfect little package. So I'm gonna do some pizza, and I'm also gonna do some buffalo chicken, because you can't have a party without buffalo chicken in some way, shape, or form. So basically you can just take any buffalo chicken dip. You can get a store-bought buffalo chicken dip or your favorite recipe, add in a little extra cheese, and fill them up. You could also make this a sweet dessert. You could do some marshmallows and chocolate in the middle, a little caramel. We're just coming up with all kinds of ideas. This is the perfect thing for kids to do, or you could set it up like buffet style if they're having a sleepover, kind of let everyone make their own calzone. I like to put it on a parchment lined baking sheet, that way it doesn't stick, and if any does ooze out a little bit, cleanup will still be easy. Put a couple slits in the top, that way they can vent, let some of the steam escape, just like you would an apple pie. This could totally be assembled ahead of your party, even frozen at this point, and then you could bake them off later. You could even cook them and then freeze them, and then they make for a quick after-school snack. So I'm gonna pop these into the oven, 350 degrees per usual, for about 15 minutes. Get the party started. I should have gotten a cold beer. Golden brown and delicious. You know how we do. They both just happen to go perfectly with ranch, so why not? Let me show you what's inside. Look at that. That's a perfect bite right there. Take them for a little swim. Told you it was a good party trick. There's nobody who is not gonna like this. It's just fun to eat. Next up, using these canned biscuits for a Southern classic. We're using this can of biscuits to make chicken and dumplings. It is the easiest way to whip this up. You can make these as fluffy or as flat as you like. I happen to like more of a flat dumpling. So I like to take my biscuits, kind of roll them out, and then I cut them into strips. A little flour may help. They're still gonna fluff up when they cook, so you can get them pretty flat. And that's it. So you're just gonna cut them into strips and then drop them into your chicken mixture. I'm a rolled dumpling kind of girl. How do you like your dumplings? Fluffy or rolled? And so you can use whatever your favorite chicken and dumplings recipe is, and then add your biscuits to it. So you want to get your mixture to a boil. It's kind of like when you cook pasta. This is one of the only times you really want bubbles, because the bubbles are going to help circulate the dumplings without them all sticking together in a clump. Drop them in and let them go. So easy. That is a good pot of chicken and dumplings. See, they've puffed up a little bit, but it's not like you're eating a biscuit. Let's dish it up, shall we? Oh, that looks so good. Chicken and dumplings. Here's how I like to top it. A little fresh parsley and lots of pepper. Comfort food, but made easy. They're so tender, they've absorbed the flavor from the chicken broth. Why are we even making dumplings homemade anymore? Now I can't wait to show you the easiest breakfast you'll ever make, and it's a viral sensation. This is kind of like a breakfast version of the Uncrustables with biscuits as our bread, and then we fill them with sausage. Grape jelly is the way to go. However, you can also do cheese, you could do eggs, you could do gravy, whatever you want. I saw this idea on social media a while back, and when I recreated it, it indeed did go viral. So you take your biscuit, split it in half, stretch them out slightly bigger than your sausage patty. You get these pre-cooked sausage patties. They do need to be pre-cooked. You can't put a raw sausage patty in here because the outside cooks faster than the inside. So they just need to reheat, which they'll do in the oven. So you're gonna take your biscuit, make sure it's slightly bigger than your sausage. You could just stop here and it could be a 2-ingredient breakfast. However, a little sweet and salty is so good. Because whenever I get a sausage biscuit from the fast food place, I always put grape jelly on it. If you don't like that, don't tell me. Because I'm telling you, it is the best. Just a little dollop. And grape really is the best combo for this. Place your other biscuit half on top and then seal the edges. Be sure you seal them really well. And then you have your little like breakfast Uncrustables. But what's good is that these also have your protein fix in there. See how cute that is? I'll do a couple with cheese in the middle just so you can see. You can bake off a whole batch of these and then keep them stored in your fridge. They make for the fastest breakfast grab and go. Take one out, pop it in the microwave for 30 to 40 seconds, and head out the door. My kids really did like these. Now my kids are weird though, they don't like jelly. So they just wanted the ones with cheese. You could dip them in honey or syrup or mustard or gravy. Perfect little packages ready to go into the oven, 375 degrees for about 10 minutes. They're gonna be so good. Look at this. Had a little ooze moment, but it's okay. Let me show you what's inside. See, it's like a sausage biscuit that you got at the drive-thru and you put jelly on it. I'm telling you, you're gonna love these. Look at that. The perfect sausage biscuit, 3-ingredient, grab and go. This right here is your easy breakfast solution. It's the perfect ratio of meat to biscuit to condiment. It's an A+ for me. But coming up next is my favorite breakfast from my childhood. Canned biscuits, greatest hit, and one of the first things I ever learned to cook as a kid, monkey bread. This is, I feel like, what canned biscuits were made for. I feel like this was their first time to shine. Monkey bread are pieces of biscuits tossed in cinnamon sugar and baked in a bundt pan, and then you pour some brown sugar buttery goodness over it. It sticks together and it's like a pull apart situation. This is definitely the first thing I ever learned to make with canned biscuits, and one of the first things I made, period. They have changed the biscuit can size since this recipe was probably invented. It calls for 3 of the smaller cans, like 12-ounce cans, or you can do 2 of the bigger cans. So get your biscuit pieces cut up, then grab a bag. I've got cinnamon and sugar in this bag. Mix it up. My mom used to do this in a paper bag, I remember. And then you're gonna drop your biscuits in, maybe not all at once, because you want the cinnamon sugar to keep the pieces separated. So go in with some, give it a shake, and then add in more. There's so many versions of monkey bread now, but the classic is my favorite, which is this. It's like every bite is gonna be like the center of the cinnamon roll. All right, then you're gonna take your bundt pan, grease it. Don't skip this step. Pour in your biscuit pieces. And as this bakes, it puffs up all the way to the edges. All right, then you take a cup of brown sugar and a stick of butter, melt that together and pour it right over the top. It's quite healthy. All right, and then this goes into the oven, 350 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. Call your friends. It's gonna be a sweet party. Here goes nothing. The moment of truth. Look at that. All that caramelized sugar on the outside is like magic. After you bake it, you let it sit in the pan for about 10 minutes and it all kind of crystallizes and comes back together. And then everybody just has fun and you just pull apart the perfect bite. Soft and pillowy on the inside, gooey, sugary, crusty on the outside. Perfect bite. That is my childhood. Look at that, see on the inside right there? Ideally, if you're sharing this, especially with people that might not be family, you can cut a slice and then just pick apart your own, because I'm gonna be like, and keep going back in. But the good news is it's all mine. What I'm showing you next is another way to turn these canned biscuits into a whole new breakfast treat. The easiest way to whip up waffles for breakfast is to use canned biscuits. I love this, A, because it's super fast, and B, because you don't get that drippy batter everywhere. I'll find batter from when my daughter makes pancakes or waffles, and it is like plaster when that stuff dries. You cannot get it off your stove. This is a great thing to do if your kids have one of the mini waffle irons. This is what my kids have, because one biscuit fits perfectly in that mini waffle maker. So you heat it up, you can give it a little spray. One biscuit, I'm gonna start out with 2, because they do stretch out when you turn them into waffles. Is that not so easy? Look at that, they're like little Belgian waffles. I also found a can of the smaller, like old school regular size biscuits. Let's do these next. Another benefit, because it's not a wet batter, these cook in half the time as regular waffles. And you can make a whole batch of waffles in no time. These are so cute. It's the easiest waffles I've ever made. Add some fresh berries, syrup. Not one person would know these started with canned biscuits. Let me just make sure it's not poisonous. Tastes like a waffle. Guys, we have pulled out all the stops so far. Next up, pigs in a blanket. A 2-ingredient treat and another way to serve up your sausage and biscuits, pigs in a blanket. I know typically we like to use crescent rolls for this, but biscuit dough works just as well. This is another thing my kids love for breakfast, because they don't like to sit down with like a fork. They want things that you can grab in your hand. My daughter is always just walking out the door because she takes so long to get ready that we don't have time to sit down and eat breakfast. And besides breakfast, I like rolling hot dogs or these smoked sausages into the biscuit, because it's a little heartier and you can serve that even for lunch or even dinner. You can cut these smaller and do the cocktail sausages, but you've seen that before and I'm here to give you something new to do. If you have something longer like a hot dog or these smoked sausages, take your biscuit, cut it in half and then roll each piece to make it kind of longer so that you can wrap the whole sausage. Okay, then you can connect them. So you can just go around and then where it stops, which is about halfway through, you connect the other half. Then you're getting a whole piece of sausage and a whole biscuit. So these are substantial. You don't even have to have a rolling pin. You can just stretch it out like this. Okay, cute, cute, cute. Or you can just take one biscuit, roll it out, and then just kind of cradle it right in the middle and wrap it up. These just look a little more fun, or you can go classic. However you want to do it. These will bake at 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes. Our little mummies and our pigs in the blanket. So perfect. No buns, no problem. The ones in the blanket could really be, hot dogs in their own bun. You could top it if you wanted, or just dip. I really like that almost better than the crescent roll because it gets kind of extra toasty on the bottom, giving you like 3 different textures because you have the outside and then the inside's still soft and fluffy. Perfect for dinner, perfect for a party. Speaking of party, wait, do you see my next 2 tricks? This is a 2-for-1 special. We're gonna use these biscuits to make party dippers. I've done this before with pizza dough, but I'm doing it today with canned biscuits. I'm going to make party dippers 2 ways, one sweet and one savory. So you take your biscuit, cut it into quarters, and then roll each piece into a ball. And then we are going to create an outline into whatever pan you want to use and whatever you want to serve your dip in. It can be a skillet, or it can just be a baking dish, a pie plate. Just depends on how much dip you have and how many biscuits you want to make. 1 can is gonna give us 32 bites. So I would say this serves, 8 to 10 people, if everybody gets a couple bites at the party. First I'm doing my sweet dip. I'm calling this hot chocolate dip because I just think chocolate and biscuits sounds good together. Give my pan a little spray. And then you're going to outline the pan with your little biscuits. They don't have to be touching because as they bake, they're gonna touch. Kind of ends up being like a little pull apart situation also. But they can touch if your pan isn't quite big enough. And then you pour whatever dip you want into the center. So this is just a mixture of cocoa powder, marshmallow fluff, and cream cheese. I'm gonna add in more marshmallows because hot chocolate without marshmallows is not really anything. You could also use mascarpone cheese instead of cream cheese if you want. Okay, and then I'm gonna pop this into the oven at 375 degrees and you're gonna cook it until your biscuits are browned. Just before it's done, I'm gonna add a few more marshmallows onto the top. Pan of hot chocolate. Topping it off with a little more chocolate because this is dessert and we are celebrating. Grab your piece and go for a swim. I feel like it's gonna be so hot. It is like hot chocolate meets a hot brownie sundae in the best way possible. The only problem is no double dipping. Okay, and now I'm gonna show you a savory option in a different dish. So grab whatever baking pan you like, and a little parchment down will help clean up. And then again, just line up your biscuits all around the outside. For this one, I'm doing a jalapeno popper dip. It's got cheese, it's got bacon, and we know that goes well with biscuits. They go further than you think because they are gonna grow as they bake. And I've got some jalapeno popper dip. It's a great thing. You can use a bunch of store-bought dips if you want, and then it becomes like a 2-ingredient appetizer. Jalapenos are inside, but I'm gonna add some more when it comes out. Then just a little finishing touch. I'm gonna brush the tops with butter into the oven. You want the biscuits to be brown and that dip to be hot and bubbly. Look at this. Get it bubbling. Ooh. Bring this to a party and you will be the star. Hot and bubbly. I might brush it with a little more butter. Now that's pretty. Just to let people know what's inside, I'm gonna sprinkle some fresh jalapeno, something sweet and something salty. Oh yeah, I'm loving the creaminess. You get the little chunks of bacon. You know it's gonna be spicy with that jalapeno in there. I really should have gotten the cold beer. A+, perfect combo. Speaking of cold beer, the next recipe is a twist on bar food. We're making garlic knots. Listen, I have worked hard, I earned it. I feel like when you think of biscuits, a lot of times they go with something sweet. We're keeping them super savory here. This could not be any easier and it tastes like you made homemade bread. Take a biscuit, cut it in half, and then roll each half into about a 6-inch log, 6 to 8 inches. Then you're gonna take it and tie it into a knot. I mean, come on, that's easy. See, I told you it'd be a twist on a classic. Biscuit dough is perfect for this because the portion is just right. Half a biscuit equals 1 garlic knot, and it's perfect every time. All right, these go into the oven, 375 degrees, and then we'll make our garlic butter. So you just want to take some melted butter, add in a little bit of garlic powder and dried parsley. And this is going to act as our glue for some Parmesan cheese. Okay, so I'm going to brush these on right when they come out and sprinkle with Parmesan cheese. They're so cute too. Brush with our garlic butter, get it nice and buttery, and then sprinkle with cheese. See, that's just like at happy hour. Besides just being a great appetizer, a fun treat, like my kids would inhale these, this is a great side if you're serving soup for dinner or just soup and salad. It's a great thing to pair with that. Biscuits as garlic knots for the win. Oh yeah. Right off the bat. 1000% my kids would inhale these. Highly addictive. And speaking of highly addictive, wait till you see the final trick I have up my sleeve. Yep, we're turning canned biscuits into donuts. You won't believe how these turn out either. Biscuits are the perfect round shape and size for a donut. All you need to do is cut out the center. This one's kind of like a magic trick. It's also another 2-for-1 special because in addition to donuts, you're gonna get donut holes. Nobody's got time to make homemade dough and let it rise and all that. Now they do require deep frying, but you know, every once in a while, you need to do it. This happens pretty fast, so you don't want to do too many at a time. Now, I'm not saying these are Krispy Kreme, but these end up somewhere like a cronut, you know, because they have the layers like the biscuits do. You want your oil to be somewhere around between 325 and 350. Fried dough, there's just something special about it. So once these come out, I'm going to dredge them in cinnamon sugar, and we're doing cinnamon sugar donuts. But of course, you could melt chocolate, you could make a glaze, do whatever you want. I mean, look at all these layers right here. I feel like you could do so much. I feel like you could take the biscuit and wrap it around a candy bar, and then you'd have like deep fried Snickers, deep fried Oreos. I just gave you a couple more ideas. Call that 17 things to do with canned biscuit dough. While they're still warm, you want to go ahead and coat them in the cinnamon sugar, kind of like churro style. The cinnamon sugar will stick a little easier if you do this while it's warm. Some donut holes. For these, I'm just going to dip them in a little bit of glaze, just a little powdered sugar and milk, because we all love a glazed donut. Look at that. Just let the excess drip off. Just want a thin little coating. Donuts and donut holes with one ingredient, canned biscuit. Pretty magical. Look at that. Pillowy, flaky goodness, 2 words, pure magic. From casseroles and muffins to Uncrustables and donuts, who knew a can of biscuits could do that much? If I haven't convinced you to keep a can in your refrigerator, then I have not done my job. I promise you, the hardest decision you're gonna have to make is which one to make first. That is so good.